Hello again everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Tuvok. Tuvok is a new officer that has been released in Star Trek Fleet Command during the July 2023 arc. Our Vulcan friend, our security officer, started off as a Marquis in the first episode, infiltrating there as a bit of a spy, and he's now made it into the game. Let's talk about what Tuvok can do. So Tuvok has two abilities. His first ability is officer ability, and the officer ability is artifact analysis. Artifact analysis increases the amount of artifact tokens that you gain from formation armadas. Formation armadas introduced a couple of months ago with the first Voyager arc, which are what you use in order to get your artifacts, your original artifacts, not talking about isolytic artifacts. I'll just quickly show you where those armadas are, where Tuvok is useful. So if we go back to our map, we can see if we go to the top of Federation space, there is a large nebula cloud here, which has slowly been getting uncovered as the Voyager arcs have progressed. And the formation armadas are situated in these systems here. And for example, if we click in Calic, because we know we can get in there without fog of war, formation armadas are three-pronged armadas, where you ideally need to be taking out all three prongs at the same time in order to get the maximum rewards. You get obviously get rewards for completing the armada itself, but then the main bonus is in a bumper chest that you get for defeating all three legs in one time. And what Tuvok is going to do, if we flip back to his officer card, Tuvok is going to increase the amount of loot that we gain from those, the amount of artifact tokens that we can then use to refine in the refinery for our artifacts. Now that artifact refinery did get a bump as well. It wasn't announced anywhere in the patch notes, but in artifact, which is right at the end of your gift section, this artifact restoration, it's these tokens, artifact tokens, which are being boosted. That is the only loot that Tuvok boosts. So unlike 5, who boosts all loot types, and the Doctor, who boosts all loot types, and then we've got Galanar that boosts inert probes and action hostile loot. Tuvok is specific to these artifact tokens. And like I said, they did make an improvement to this. We only had 1 and 2 chest options when these were first launched. They have now introduced a 4 chest option. The 4 chest option is 4 times the cost of 2 chests. So it is quite pricey, but what we was finding was that people were getting thousands and hundreds and thousands of these, and they were just never going to be able to use them if they continue to play in the loop. So adding a 4 chest option, albeit expensive, I think is a fantastic addition to the game, and Tuvok is going to give us some additional loot boosts for that. Looking back at the officer card, Tuvok also has a below deck ability. Now we point out that when we have a below deck ability and an officer ability, officers do not have a captain's maneuver. So his below deck ability is 100% increase to cargo capacity for the USS Voyager. This is when he is at rank 1. We can promote Tuvok a little bit, so we're going to show the benefits unlock, and we're going to show the benefits through a couple of tiers as well, just to show off how good he's going to be to increase our Voyager cargo capacity. One thing to note, as much as 100% you would think it would double the cargo, this is part of the efficiency model, which is used throughout the game for damage, for protected cargo, and likewise for cargo capacity as well. And remember, this is specific to the Voyager ship only, so it won't boost any other ship's cargo holds. Let's have a look at STFC.space, and we'll have a look and see how this progresses as we work through the ranks of Tuvok. So this is Tuvok, and as we can see, as I mentioned earlier, Tuvok has no captain's maneuver, so having him in the captain's seat will do absolutely nothing for your game. Artifacts analysis, like I've said, starts off at 80% and all the way through the ranks, so rank 1 through rank 5, caps out at a 200% bonus. Logistics, like they've got that in there for the Vulcan, nice Vulcan twing there. He starts off at 100% and up to Commander rank 5, caps out at a 400% bonus, which is pretty big. And like I said, I'm going to show you through the first couple of levels what sort of impact this has on the actual Voyager ship, so that you understand whether it's something that you want to go for. When we're talking about crewing, you may decide that you want to use him on formation armadas for this. Now, when you are hitting formation armadas, one thing to note is that different formation armadas have a different opportunity to drop certain specific artifacts, which means that it's not all just random random number generation. It's not completely random which ones you get. We have done lots of deep diving. Shout out to Jules and Blue Mandalorian, who have been able to come up with a chart which shows which different formation armadas actually drop different artifact shards for you to be able to work on. So we'll pull that up now and we'll have a quick look, and I'll explain where I think Tuvok will fit into this model. So here we are on the Officer Tool Discord. This is where you can access all of Jules Verne and Blue Mandalorian's charts in a nice handy way in the chart section of our Discord down here. So what we're going to be looking at specifically for this part to talk about Tuvok is the Artifacts Gallery and Formation Armada chart. So we're just going to quickly pull that up. And here we have it, the artifact sourcing table. Again, massive shout out Jules Verne and Blue Mandalorian for doing this for us. So at the moment we have these armadas in the game, all uncommon, 30, 35, 40 through to the 55 uncommons. And you can see that you can choose when it comes to the uncommon and the rare artifacts, you can actually target specific armadas that we know drop these at a much higher ratio. So for example, one of the artifacts that I'm going for is Mud's Andorian Helmet. The reason that I'm doing that is because it increases the base cost efficiency of Pasteel, Tritanium, Dilithium for buildings. Mainly Pasteel that I'm looking for here, especially as you get up into the late 40s and the 50s, Pasteel becomes a little bit of a problem. So I want to specifically work on this. And to do that, I'm going to target the level 30 uncommons look. So level 30 uncommons, we know have a high chance of dropping the Mud's Andorian Helmet. And use this chart by sort of reverse engineering it, decide which artifacts that you want to go for in the uncommons and the rares. The fact that we've got no sourcing from the Tri-Wizard chest, we call it the Tri-Wizard chest because this is the chest that drops these. These are all specifically in relation to when you kill all three of the formation armada wings, as they were, all three legs of these in one time. You drop the Tri-Wizard chest. So the Tri-Wizard chest for the Mud's Andorian Helmet is from the level 30 uncommons, so that's what I'm targeting. And this is where Tuvok can potentially come in. Obviously, level 30 uncommons, they are the smallest armada in the game, smallest formation armada in the game. So what you can find is that these are very easy to kill. Now, don't take this as gospel, but as a rule, if you've got 50% of the power, you are easily going to be able to take these armadas down. Now, don't use that as absolute gospel, especially as we get higher, and if they'll end up launching rare and epic formation armadas, that maths could change. However, based on lots of testing over the last few months that these have been out, 50% of the power should be all that you need. So you can see at 9 million per wing, you actually only need about 5 million in each of the individual legs of the formation armada. Now where Tuvok comes in here is because these are really easy to kill, it seems to make massive sense for us to be running a loot crew. So when we're talking about a loot crew for formation armadas, let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm currently crewing out my Voyager, and this what I'm showing you at the moment is the maximum loot crew that you can get specific to formation armadas. Now if you was running against general armadas, you may decide to add a side of synergy to Geordie to be able to get the additional 15%. So for example, if I throw a Beverly in there, we can see that we get a 15% side of synergy. But we saw from that screen that even at rank 1, Tuvok is giving us an 80% boost to loot. So we put him in there because it's higher than the 15% synergy that we get from the other two officers. We've then got 5, which starts off at 20%, and then every time you rank her up, you are going to get an additional 20% loot drop from there. So see, mine is rank 4, so I'm getting an 80% boost in loot from 5. From Geordie, I am getting a 50% boost, and then from Tuvok, I am getting at rank 1 an 80% uplift. So from using these three officers, we're getting a 210% bonus to loot against formation armadas, and if you are lucky enough to have the Doctor unlocked, the Doctor's below deck ability is also an increase to loot and adding another 15% to that loot bonus. So this for formation armadas is the biggest crew that you can give to improve the loot that you drop from the formation armadas. So let's talk about how Tuvok is going to increase that loot. So the loot that he's going to specifically increase is when we actually scan the armada. The loot that is effective is this 2,000 in this particular case. So this 2,000 is what is going to be boosted. Now this 2,000 obviously is the total amount for the armada, so it will be shared based on the power contributed towards the overall power of your team per leg. It will be split based on that, and then you will get your bonus pending on the officers that you actually have on your ship. that's then what's going to affect it. And these are the tokens, the artifact tokens that you take into that refinery that I showed you in your gift section in order to be able to get your artifact tokens. So it's not going to boost, even though I'm specifically looking at Mud's helmet. Mud's helmet shards are going to drop from the chests that are dropped by killing these particular armadas. So that's how I would use him in terms of using his officer ability. Now, where I think his main strength comes is using his below deck ability. Below deck ability to increase the amount of cargo that your Voyager specifically has, because what we find is that the Voyager is not only a combat ship, it is also a miner. So when we're mining with the Voyager, we mine both the common and the rare anomaly samples to be able to turn in for isolytic artifact shards. Those isolytic artifact shards are found in your Voyager refinery, and depending on your tier of your Voyager will determine the cost of these chests. But we can see, for example, 3 chests for me is 870,000 at tier 6. 870,000, and you can pull this every 5 days. You can pull the rare anomaly samples every 7 days, and for me it's 1.8 million. Now I would stress to everybody, do not strive to pull double chests of the rare. The power and the impact on your isolytic artifacts comes from the common chest. That sounds strange, but this is literally just extra. I target myself on just opening 1 chest of these every single day. So every single week. So to try and make sure that I have 150,000 of the rare loot. You can see I've got over 1.1 million, 150,000 every 7 days, just to get a few more shards towards my isolytic artifacts. But cargo space is important because you are restricted on how often you can go to the systems where you can actually mine these materials. So where you can mine these materials is in a few systems. So normally they're prefaced with FSEP, okay, which is fluidic space entry points. Now this one, fluidic space entry point 4840, has no mining nodes in there. However, when you get slightly further in, you'll find these like 505. You can see it has both common and rare anomaly nodes in it. The next one is FSEP 3819, which again has those anomaly samples. There's 247, and then the final one, and then we have FSEP 001. They are the locations where you can mine these anomaly samples. But as I've said, you cannot go an unlimited amount of times. You are locked by a Delta Quadrant warp cell, and your Delta Quadrant warp cells are gotten from the Voyager refinery again, and they're in the species 8472 loot exchange. And every chest that you can pull, whether that be 1, 2, or 3, will pay out a guarantee of 1 Delta Warp Quadrant cell. So make sure that if you can absolutely do it, you need to be trying to triple pull this chest so that every 3 days, because this is on a 3-day cooldown, this chest, I pulled all my refineries this morning, 3-day cooldown, you ideally want to be trying to get 3 cells every single 3 days, so 1 chest per day, and that will then allow you to be able to keep up with both your common and rare anomaly sample refines. So cargo space is super important because the cargo on Voyager is not massive. So we can see here that I have 0 officers that actually impact on my cargo space. And at tier 6, bearing in mind I do have cargo research from Syndicate, from obviously other researchers as well, but there is also a new node that was added when Voyager was launched in the Starships tree, which actually increases the Voyager cargo space. This is an locked research, and it's called Voyager Cargo. So Voyager Cargo, for me at my ops level at ops 54, allows me to get up to rank 9 in this particular research, which is a 366% bonus, but it does go as high as 500%. The other one in this tree that was launched that improves the capacity of your Voyager is haul capacity, but haul capacity increases the cargo for all ships. And at my ops level, ops 54, I can max this research once I've got sufficient of the circuitry fragments to be able to complete it. So these are 2 researches again, which are going to be very important to your Voyager game, and another place where Tuvok is going to come into his own. So what we're going to look at now is changing this crew from a max loot crew from killing the hostiles. We're now going to show Tuvok's other ability to increase this amount. So the cargo capacity with 0 officers affecting it, just my research and Syndicate, is 371,300. But let's change up this crew. So I have recrewed my ship and I am now gone from increasing loot dropped from hostiles to maximum cargo for my ship. Now we're going to confirm this. This has got 4 of 11 on one side, Stun on one side, and then Mavery in the middle. Now Mavery is an officer that is only available once you hit Syndicate level 26. So if you are not at Syndicate level 26, then what you can do is you can swap Mavery out for 2 of 11. 2 of 11 as captain, because 2 of 11's also 2 of 11's captain's maneuver also increases your cargo size. So if you do not have Mavery, then swap Mavery for 2 of 11. Now I'm lucky enough to have Mavery because my syndicate is above Syndicate 26, so I've started to earn him and I've been able to have him on my ship. So what we've taken our cargo from, that 371,000, has now increased to 467,000. So 371 up to 467,000. I'm going to ignore the pence when we're looking at these numbers, so ignore the 870 at the end. But again, could be quite important. We're now going to show the impact of Tuvok. So what we're going to do, we've also got Strange New Worlds La'an below deck as well, because Strange New Worlds La'an below deck is also increasing your maximum cargo. So this is the max cargo crew that you can have for a general ship and for Voyager if you do not have Tuvok. The sourcing for Tuvok this month has been great, and I would expect everybody to have unlocked Tuvok during this arc, during July of 2023. Now, if we put Tuvok on there at rank 1, so at rank 1 Tuvok has taken us from 467,000 up to 530,000. And that's just at rank 1. And we're going to show the impact of promoting him as well. So we're going to take Tuvok and we are going to upgrade him. We're going to take him to rank 2. So we've gone from 100% cargo increase to 150% cargo increase. And that's taken our 530,000 cargo up to 561,000 at rank 2. So we can see the impact there as we promote him through the ranks. It's having a significant impact on the cargo space of the Voyager. And the cargo space of Voyager, being able to get those common and rare anomaly samples, is one of the key parts of the Voyager loop, because ultimately the end game of Voyager is getting those isolytic artifacts to improve your isolytic damage, your isolytic defense, and obviously the isolytic cascade, which at the moment is only available through Janeway. So that's Tuvok. That's a deep dive into him. I hope everybody has found this useful. I think Tuvok is a great officer, a great addition to the game. I think his main ability lies within his below deck ability. However, his officer ability does scale well, and it is going to help increase the amount of artifact tokens that you gain when running formation armadas with your team. So I hope you've all found this useful. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're on a massive push to get to 1,000 subscribers. We are so close. I'm getting giddy about it actually. So if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button. Press like on the way out. If you liked the video, please leave any comments below if there's anything that you think that I've missed out, or anything that you would do any differently to me. Aside from that, have a fantastic day, everybody. Please join our Discord. Link to that will be in the description below. We can always chat on there while we're offline. We stream on Twitch on Tuesdays, generally a start time of 8:30 to 9:30. That's UK time most Tuesdays. We try and throw a bonus stream in as and when we can. But aside from that, have a fantastic day, everybody. Get out there with Tuvok, live long and prosper, and remember, guys, everything is better with lube. Take care, guys. Bye bye now.